Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, my beautiful girlies. It's Grace, and let's hop right in to this makeup get ready with me. So for today's topic of discussion, it's actually not going to be a question per usual. It's actually going to kind of be like more like a statement. Like a statement to give like advice to. And sometimes I will speak on some things that I just feel really, really personally that I just feel like has to just go out into the void, like even if no one takes it, which is perfectly fine, like everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just need to get this out because if even one person can hear this message and just, resonate with it and, just even, just do, then I feel like I've done my job, But the statement that I am talking about is to enjoy your youth and to do whatever you want to do while you are in your youth. And I have two reasons why I say that. The first reason why I say to enjoy your youth and to do whatever you want to do is because you will never get back your youth, or you will never get back, being, in your late teens or in your 20s ever again. Now, I know that being in your 20s that I've discovered thus far is quite interesting, especially, with how this decade has just come to fruition, with to start off strong with, COVID and the lockdown and just how that world has changed within, 6 years. Literally, it's just so insane of how 6 years ago this month, COVID just took over the world. And you have a lot of young people where, whether if they were in, elementary school at the time, middle school, high school, in college, or even post-grad, our opportunities of what our future is going to look like looked very, very limited due to a once-in-a-lifetime global pandemic. And I'm going to be honest with you, I still can't believe that this entire world lived through that, especially me. It just, I don't know. It just honestly still feels like a nightmare. It just doesn't even feel like the pandemic was real in the first place. And honestly, I think with that, people my age at the time were kind of forced to just really think like, oh, whatchamacallit, what's just gonna happen next? Where's this going? Yada, 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 and all of that fun stuff. And it's just like, certain people couldn't hit certain milestones, like the infamous class of 2020. Didn't get their graduation and stuff like that. They were seniors in high school and all of that stuff. It's just so insane of how just our world changed literally within a snap of a finger at that point 6 years ago. And even now it still doesn't feel like it's been that long. It honestly feels like it feels long ago, but it doesn't feel long ago at the same time. And I don't know, maybe it's trauma, maybe it's that, I don't know. But oh my goodness, we're not here to talk about the pandemic. Here I go just like venting and going on. But I promise you, this comes, what I'm talking about, it's gonna, get to the point that I'm trying to say. The futures that people older than me at the time, you know, the lives and aspirations that they probably had, they missed out on that. And it was literally on things that they just could not control. Like, you know, you could have never predicted a global pandemic. You could have never predicted any of those things. And it's not fair. And it most definitely isn't fair. But I think, you know, and sometimes we don't really have the choice to live out our youth, you know? And I, you know, definitely relate to that for sure. But I think you still have to find a way, because unfortunately, time is one of those things that we just never get back. And I'm pretty sure with all the money in the world, if we just had all that money, we would like to buy that one thing back, is time. Because, you know, time really is so precious, and we don't realize how precious it is until it's too late. I just think that, in all honesty, we really just have to tell people, especially young people, that, you know, whatever you want to do, you got to do it. And, you know, unpopular opinion, I know that people like to say that you can do it at any age, and this is not to, you know, not say that you can do it at any age. You most definitely can. I like to say, and everyone also says, that it is never too late to live the life that you want, because at the end of the day, it is your life. You should live the life that you want to live 1,000%. However, and at least in my personal experience, when I've just been reflecting, it's just like, you know, there are some things that you just only can experience at that certain age. Like, for example, like, you know, moving into your dorm, like if you go to college late, and this isn't to like not convince people to like not go to college at any certain time in your life. Like, when you go to college, you know, maybe later in life, it's, you know, moving into your dorm or whatever, it's not going to be the same when you are 18 years old, right out of high school, you know, 18, 19, right out of high school, wanting to make friends, wanting to meet new people, moving into your dorm the first time, having your first taste of independence. It's just not the same, because you are older, you are wiser. And I definitely get being young mentally, because I know that we all feel, you know, mentally young for sure. But I kind of don't really want to spread the message and say that, oh, well, if it doesn't happen when you're younger, at least it'll happen when you're older. And it's just not the same, you know? It's just not. Like, there are certain experiences that, you know, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it just makes sense when you're young. It's like, I really hope that, like, I'm not sounding, you know, dumb when I say this, because I don't want to not say to people to not live their life, because you definitely should. But it's incredibly special when, you know, when you're young, because we always like to say, you know, let kids be kids, right? You know, I know that everyone would agree with that sentiment for sure. Like, yes, let kids be kids 100%, because, you know, you have the rest of your life to become a grown adult, but you get so little time being a kid. And, you know, I just don't think that we should take that for granted whatsoever, you know, with just being a young person. You know, common saying is that the youth is wasted on the young. And, you know, and we should be able to be delusional and be selfish and, you know, do what we want to do when we're young, because we're young people. Like, why wouldn't we want to do that? You know, I just think that, you know, unfortunately, we're getting older. We're not getting younger. And I feel like we just have to be very, 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 very careful of just how we spend these very precious, vulnerable years of our youth. And even though we have no sense of control over it, it's like, even if you don't have any control over that, you know, just do it anyways, because that age, and being that age, which will just never come back. And I just think that we just need to honestly just be more open to just having experiences. And it doesn't mean you have to live a completely rock star life. It could just be little things like just hanging out with your friends and family, doing hobbies that you've always wanted to do when you were younger, but you never got the chance. And, you know, this, that, and the third. And, you know, just do that before it's too late, before you do get older and your bones do get weaker and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, I just think that we, you know, and young people will always take things for granted, because I know I do. But especially now, like, we should want to, you know, live the life that, you know, we always wanted to live. Because if not now, then when, you know? Okay, guys, so that is the first reason as to why you should enjoy your youth and do whatever you want to do, because you will just, you know, never get, you know, your youth back, or just being, you know, in your late teens or 20s back. All right, you guys. So the second and last reason as to why I think that you should enjoy your youth and do whatever you want to do in your youth is because who knows what the world is going to look like in the future. And what I mean by this point, I think just a lot of people don't realize this, but I think I honestly realized this with the pandemic. I know, going back to the pandemic, right? I definitely think that the pandemic has hit my generation so hard. And even years later, it's still kind of hard to talk about it, you know? Because people have to understand the world shut down everywhere. Like, it wasn't just the US, it shut down globally. So, you know, to kind of go through that and just, you know, being okay with our futures being unknown, I genuinely realized that maybe, you know, in my teens, for example, I didn't really get to do a lot of the, you know, like, I did some teen stuff, but I didn't get to do as much teen stuff as like my classmates did or my friends did. And, you know, that made me realize is that time really isn't promised to us. And we really just need to, you know, live the life that we want to live now, because like no one could have predicted a global pandemic. Nobody could have. Even the smartest of the smartest couldn't have predicted it. It's honestly kind of scary how it happened kind of out of nowhere. Honestly, it just doesn't make sense on how that happened, you know? Honestly, you know, the world shutting down for that amount of time was just scary as heck. You know, you just didn't really know where things were going, what people were thinking next. It's just like our life was really on pause for 2 years. We are here all these years later with still repercussions of the pandemic, and just in a world where we kind of feel like no one knows what they're doing, and people are kind of just going through this new normal. And I honestly just say that to say that, you know, honestly, whatever you want to do, just do it, because we really just don't know where the future is heading. And, you know, who's to say that the era is going to be the same anymore? Like, the era that I had when I was a teenager is just not the same era that it is now when I am a young adult in my 20s. So, and who's to say that's going to be the same thing in my 30s? So, you know, the way that the world's changing, it's just changing very, very rapidly. So we just need to make sure that we are aware that, you know, whatever we want to do, even if we have to force ourselves to do it because we feel like we don't have any choices, just do it. Please just live the life, or do the things in your life that you've always wanted to do, because who knows when you will ever have that chance ever again. And even if you're not able to live the life that you wanted to live or accomplish your dreams, but you did a little bit of that, at least you can say to yourself, well, at least I did it anyways, you know? But yeah, you guys, that is the second to last thing that of why I think that you should enjoy your youth and do whatever you want to do, because who knows what the world's going to look like in the future. So everyone, we are done with this little minor makeup look. I just did a cute little eyeshadow look. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I think this is Soch. What am I saying? I think this is just such cute makeup, and we just have a lot of color going on. Love the color combos. But yeah, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this talk, and I hope that this talk really resonated with you, because it definitely resonated with me. And even if I get no, you know, whatever views or whatever, I'm just happy that I let this out in the void. So yeah, you guys, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you all enjoyed. I hope that you will have an amazing Monday, an amazing week, and I will see all of y'all's beautiful faces next time. Bye, guys.